Recently, I've dedicated my time to making an awareness of the passport situation that we currently have because the 5-year passport actually needs a reform. So I had a conversation with somebody who currently works at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and his reasoning was, Liberia currently have the 5-year passport because of security reasons. They're trying to fight out the fact that the Liberian passport have been duplicated, which actually it wasn't. They were given to people who used them for the wrong reasons. And the passports that were given to people who used them for the wrong reasons were the diplomatic passports. So now he's saying that the reason they're doing all of this is to increase the security system and actually better it because it's still at the first level. How the infrastructure were destroyed during the war. So now the post-war effect is what Liberia is trying to handle. So now we have to deal with the 5-year passport. I actually understand what he said, but my counter statement was, we need to understand the whole passport situation from the perspective of people living outside of Liberia, because you don't know how terrible the passport situation is till you leave the country. People living outside of Liberia have to pay way more for the same product as people in Liberia. And I know some people will come out and say, oh, they're paying more because of consulate costs, they're paying more because of logistics. And trust me, the logistical part of the whole passport situation is not even handled by the embassy. You have to pay for your passport to get retransferred back to you wherever you are, even if the embassy does your application. So my whole problem here is, why are we paying way more? Because like I saw in my comment section from the first video that I made based off the same topic, somebody paid $600 while they were living in China to get a passport. So imagine somebody's paying $600 to get a passport that somebody's paying $40 to get within Liberia. Why is that? So the cost on people living outside of Liberia is way more than the cost of people living inside Liberia. That's the reason I actually want to focus on this, on a small explanation today, so people can get a grasp of the situation the right way. And the reason I'm actually doing this, I don't know who it was that made the statement that the Liberian economic situation or the whole economy status is currently being pushed or being diversified based off the incomes that are coming or the remittance that are coming from abroad, from Liberians living in the diaspora. So that means Liberia also heavily depends on people living outside of Liberia. That's the reason I drew this little presentation again. So firstly, we'll start at the financial trap. If the economy of Liberia solely depends or partially depends on the diaspora to keep it going or to keep it afloat, why are people in the diaspora currently stuck in a financial trap? Why do we have to pay way more for the same product? And we also have very limited time, which means renewal process, it's just a few walks away. And the stress and the financial burden are going to repeat. Logistical nightmare. Like I said before, the embassy doesn't handle the shipping back and forth of your passport. You take care of that yourself. So if you're taking care of the passport costs, you pay a lot to get the passport done within Liberia because you're not there. And then they'll have to take that time. So you also have to wait for the passport to get processed, which might take a month, 2 months, 3 months, up to 6 months. You don't even know when your passport is actually going to be ready. And when your passport is actually ready, then you have to pay to get it to you, which is another cost all by itself, increasing the financial burden. Psychological weight. The stress that comes with knowing your passport is about to expire, and the stress that comes with waiting for your passport because you got to get your passport to the immigration and get your visa replaced in your passport is just so crazy that people don't actually consider this while they're living in Liberia. the stress that comes with knowing that, oh, at any moment you could be labeled as illegal is way higher for anybody living outside of Liberia. Because living in a country illegally puts you at risk to anything. So now we look at some of the repercussions. It harms the economy. The diaspora is one of the main financial stands of Liberia. So if people within the diaspora who are remitting money to Liberia to develop a part of the country or to set up businesses and to help the economy grow are now stuck in a dilemma where they have to pay more, wait longer to get a passport that will expire within no time, that creates a nightmare. Stifled human capital. If the government is considering the whole security scheme, as the person from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs told me, and not looking at the fact that it's actually harming the Liberians who are leaving the country. Let's say a student leaves the country and then go and study somewhere else. That student also may have one supporter, because not everybody in Liberia have multiple supporters or a strong supporter who have a lot of money. We all know that. Not everybody in Liberia have a lot of money. So if you find somebody who's going to support you, and then that person is thinking about how they're going to pay your tuitions, how they're going to pay for your food, how they're going to keep you living smoothly within that country, and now they have to worry about a passport. How they need to pay $2 to $3 to $4 to $5 to $600 to get you a passport that they will have to renew within less time. It erodes trust. If the Liberian people start to feel like their passport is being more of a barrier to opportunities than it is as a document that levy that travel, it erodes the trust that the people have within their country. Because now the guy's statement that the government is prioritizing security way more than the livelihood of the common Liberians or the livelihood of Liberians living in the diaspora. It erodes trust on a higher scale, because that means the country is putting first what they're using, how much it costs them, over how it affects the life of their citizens, which is not a good rep. So I'm actually going to keep making this noise until this video can get to the rightful person, and this can actually get in a bill, and we can have the 10 years passport. So if you want me to do a little more deep dive, let me know in the comments. But for now, keep making the noise.